On this past Saturday morning stand-up live stream where we talk Splinterlands every Saturday, I went on a bit of a rant. I felt like I kind of kept my head level, but I needed to address the opinions I had on the release of the information on the new land cards within Splinterlands. Now, with that said, I knew I was going to step on some toes, and I did. In this episode, I got a really well-constructed rebuttal from a viewer, and I wanted to go over it and kind of give equal time to both sides of the argument. So with that said, that's what we're going to do in this video. If that sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Hey, all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Ron's Dragon here saying once again, thanks for dropping by. As always, I do appreciate your time. Please leave a like on the video if you want me to continue covering Splinterlands, and subscribe if you haven't already. That would help out. I appreciate it. Okay, let's dive in. This past week, we saw the release of the information about the new land cards. Of course, everything is subject to change, but with that said, if you've been following my channel for some time, you know I've been really super pumped about the land game in Splinterlands and what it represents. I've dove in headfirst, and I've spent a significant amount of funds doing that. Now, with that said, the idea of land cards I love the idea. It's something that came up. I forget who suggested it, but it's something that the community came up with, and it gained traction, and Cryptomancer has developed the first iteration of the land cards. We got that information last week, and I had some very strong opinions about the costs involved with making these land cards. Okay, with that said, I knew when we were talking about it on my live stream, I was going to step on some toes, but at that point, I just felt like, hey, if I didn't say that, if I didn't express my opinions, then I feel like I'm the low-end guy expressing my opinions against the high-end guys. Now, that's where I was coming off, and if you want to listen to that discussion, I'll leave the link directly after this video and in the show notes. Now, with that said, a member of the community left a rebuttal or a reply on the video, and there were several line items that he went through, and I felt that it was well thought out, so I thought I would give it equal air and go through and go over his comments. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. Okay, this comes from viewer Erroneous, who seems to be a rather vocal member of the community. And from time to time, we take opposing viewpoints, but he or she has always seemed to be pretty logical to me. So let's go ahead, and with that background of what I was talking about during that conversation on the live stream, let's go over the line items that they point out. First of all, they say, I want to make a few counterpoints. First of all, a lot of people have requested and suggested a Chaos Legion card burning event, including myself. Okay, and I understand this. And I know there's been at least one other major card burning event, if not two, in the past. The fact of the matter is, and I think if you're relatively new to the game, Chaos Legion was a set that was overproduced. There's too many cards in the within the game, and the cards are very cheap. We've been trying for a year and a half to get rid of a lot of them, and they've tried a number of things. This is the latest thing. So yes, I understand that this was aimed at getting rid of a lot of Chaos Legion cards, but my point was that I still think that the burn required for each of these cards was too much. Okay, of course, if you are an upper level player and you've bought hundreds and hundreds of packs, yeah, you probably got all these cards laying around, but and ready to burn if you wanted to do the land card. But if you're just a new player, or even a middle level player like myself, I don't have a ton of those cards, so I would have to end up buying them, and the card prices are escalating, which is one of your other points here, so we'll address that in a minute. Second point is, all the quote-unquote costs you paid for your land plots went to other players, or you got it for free. Totem fragments. This is true. When you buy land plots, for the most part, other than the one I bought at the very beginning from the company, everything is secondary market. So whether you're getting cards or to stake, whether you're buying DEC wasn't free. You have to buy a bunch of DEC to stake on your land. It's a huge cost for land, but that's addressing a different problem, trying to prop up the value of DEC, right? So we won't get into that, but all the other things, cards, lands, it's a good point. Even totems, totem fragments, unless you got them free from claiming on land, you bought them on the secondary market. So I think this is addressing the fact that these costs are not going to the company. And I don't think I ever said that. I just said generally that it was costing too much. I have nothing against the company making money. I want the company to make money. I want to see Splinterlands around for another 7 years, right? But the general just cost level of the cards to me was between burning and the other costs, resource costs, which once again is a cost going back to whoever is selling off that resource. Okay, good point though. Thirdly, all the costs for your land plots are equity that you can remove and liquidate. This is true, but for the most part, if I try to liquidate my land now, I would be very far in the hole due to the prices I paid for land in the past, right? Cards, on the other hand, which is one of your other points we'll address here, have been going up. That addresses my point about the cost of buying cards to burn has gone up. So we'll go on to the next one. Your plots are generating you liquid assets that are immediately liquid, no waiting on the marketplace because of the pools. This is also true. I put at least a couple $1,000s into my land, staking it out and everything, and I can make like $2 or $3 a week just selling resources if I wanted to. Okay, so it is true. You can also take those resources, such as aura, and make other things and sell those on the market. That's what the whole land game is about, right? Buying land, staking it out, and creating, mining, and harvesting, and then if you're creating aura to make potions and wagon repair kits and things like that, and turn around and sell it. I'm not arguing that. That's what the whole game's about. It's just for me, it's been a very low return on what I've put into it so far. And every new level that is released of the land game, so to speak, we're somewhere between 1.75 and 2.0 somewhere. I don't even know if the land cards count as a separate section within the land evolution, but we're right there at 1.75. Every step along the way just seems to be costing more and more and more money. That's my main point. Okay. The next point he has is this Chaos Legion burning event is going to make the value of your gold foil Chaos Legion cards you have on land go up in value. I completely agree. We are already seeing that. And that goes back to a few other things I talked about, right? So it is making the price of the cards go up for the time being, until this event is over. Obviously, the whole goal is for a lot of the Chaos Legion cards to be burned off. Will the price stay up? Who knows? But it's a point worth making. Next up, if you make it too easy to make land cards, the whales will go ham, and I think that would affect the economy in a bad way. Okay, so my return question is, would that affect the economy worse than outpricing, overpricing the cards, so people on the low to mid end just can't really get any to use? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see, right? I was looking at the cards with the price of the cards going up to burn and the price of resources going up. Those costs for each of those cards are just going exponential, right? What was once figured at $200, maybe $300 now. I haven't done the math, but the price is definitely going up. So it's another example of something that is very expensive if you want to try and play with it in Splinterlands. And it's something that I talked about this past weekend, where I'm actually having to consider just stop buying other cards within the game and packs to play the game on the play side, so that I can afford to buy the land cards on the land card side, or the land side. Okay, so next up, most of the Chaos Legion card overhang is the commons. Giving a path to create common land cards was clever, as it lets the lower level players get a foot in the door. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this as well. The lower level, if you've looked at the numbers, the lower level of the land cards is great for people that are just starting out. If you don't have your land staked out, very good option, right? You can go in there. And in fact, I think Gathering brought it up during the talk that it would also be good to make them and turn around and sell them on the market, because these seem to be cards that will, even if you don't use them, you make a few and sell them and make a little bit of profit, okay? But for those of us who have our lands mostly staked out, the lower end card not being max level is just not really going to work out, because it's not going to give us enough value. In fact, it's going to bring my production power of the plot down, and you have to really weigh out all the other incentives you get on the cards, all the other bonuses you get. But I still think in the end run, the number one thing you're going to want is that production power, and anything that decreases that is just like it's like shooting yourself in the foot. Okay. Okay, his next point was this is going to raise the value of all the land resources that you produce, which is liquid. Yes, I mean it's shown at least in the short term to raise the what all your grain, your wood, everything like that is going up. Like I said, for the time being, after the cards are sold out and everything's over, what happens then? Then people start amassing a bunch more, and the price goes down. It's just marketing, right? Now, how this initial test goes, we'll see whether we actually get more land cards and what those land cards are. And I'm sure they're looking at the numbers in the back end on how it's going to affect the economy and the overhang of all these different materials, which a lot of people probably have been building up. And lastly, getting this out of the way is going to clear up Cryptomancer to start working on the next land release, which is going to make you, meaning me, really happy when it comes out. I really hope so. I've been waiting a long time for 2.0, but once again, I still have my reservations, especially around salt and a few of the other things that I just like I said earlier, every time a new release comes out or a new generation evolution of the game, it just ends up costing what I spent. I took a plot of land and I paid $40 or $50 for the plot of land, and then I spent $40 or $50 or $100 on cards to put on that land, and then I spent I don't know, $10 or 10, $12 on DEC to put on that land. And then I spent $20 on a totem to put on that land. And then now land cards, I'm going to spend $200 theoretically for a card to put on that land. And that is one piece of land. Now, multiply this. I've got 25. Some people have hundreds. I know. I'm a medium-sized fish in the overall picture. It's just as I'm concerned with as the game goes along and the land game evolves, that this just gets increasingly more expensive. Okay, that's been my take. Let me know in the comments what you think of the whole situation. And don't forget, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, on Saturdays, we have our Saturday morning stand-up where we discuss Splinterlands. So please stop by if you have the time. This has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in Splinterlands.